y'all, thank you so much for joining me for my warm reviews of the Walt Disney World Signature Treats collection. As someone who deeply enjoys a stroll down Main Street, USA, I am very excited to share my thoughts on this collection with you. As a quick reminder, I do use mostly 25 watt and up Scentsy warmers as I am a Scentsy consultant, and those warmers are typically on for about 15 hours a day. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that we can stay in touch. One of the first things that caught my attention when I looked at this packaging was how much this seems to be coded to Main Street, USA. I mean, this packaging just gives me the vibe of walking down Main Street, USA in Walt Disney World. And when you open the pamphlet that, yay, has the scent notes, but I want to call your attention over here first. This is a classic photograph of Main Street, USA in Walt Disney World, and I think it really sets the tone for what they set out to achieve inside these fragrances. I do love that they have included the fragrance notes as almost like a menu here on the back. So it does give you an idea of what they have identified as the scent notes. We'll talk about performance and kind of what I get out of them as I go through each individual bar. But this adorable little awning opens up to reveal your complete collection. Now, of course, I have already warmed through these, so they're partially empty or all the way empty, but let's get into talking about my warm reviews. Now, this first one is Disney's Mickey Mouse Cinnamon Bun Bash, and I don't think it smells as much like a cinnamon bun as I think it smells like something else, and I'll get into it in a second. Now, the scent notes list with baked pastry dough, cinnamon, and a drizzle of vanilla glaze. I definitely get all of those scent notes. You can see here they have the Mickey cinnamon bun there. I've melted through 5 of these cubes, and what I can say is, to my nose, as someone who frequents Main Street, USA, this smells exactly what it's like when you walk into the Main Street, USA bakery. So it's more like an air of bakery as opposed to the actual cinnamon roll itself. So it's not an intense fragrance, but when I tell you spot on, when I put this in my house, everybody in my home who kind of also frequents Main Street, USA was like, this is exactly what the bakery smells like. So I feel like, to me, if you're expecting a deep, rich cinnamon roll, you might be disappointed. But if you want to be transported back to the Main Street, USA bakery, you're going to be delighted with that one. This is maybe my favorite label of this collection. You can see they have the adorable little Mickey and Minnie candy apples featured. This bar is called Candy Apple Delight, and its scent notes are crisp apple dipped in butter caramel, and pecan strikes a sweet and happy balance of juicy and sweet. This bar, much like the Cinnamon Bun Bash bar, to me is not a treat as much as it is a location. Now, I do love this bar. I think it is a fresh, bright, beautiful bar, but it smells to me exactly like the moment that you walk into the Main Street USA confectionery, which is where these types of treats are available on Main Street USA. This little awning is just kind of another indication to me that maybe they were going more for like air of confectionery, because if they were, they got it 100%. So it's not like a deep, rich caramel apple like what you would get in what you would expect, I think, from a caramel apple bar. But if you want to elicit the vibe of walking down Main Street, these first 2 bars give you the confectionery and the bakery. And now this bar gives you that adorable little trolley that's just at the edge of Main Street when you may be heading into Frontierland or some other land. This is Glazed Almond Dreams, and it was the strongest of the bunch to me. Well, it may be tied for another one. You can see here I've used 4 cubes, and this smells beautiful. The scent notes are almonds coated in sweet sugar and sparkling cinnamon. You definitely get that. This is a really powerful bar. When I smelled this on cold, it smelled like a really almost like burning extract scent in my nose, and I was terrified of it. But when I put it in on warm, it was just this really beautiful, warm fragrance that again takes me right to that cart. This smells like the almonds that they make in those little carts as you're walking down Main Street, USA. So I feel like they have really kind of nailed this sort of stroll down Main Street vibe. Probably my favorite of this collection is Fruit and Hazelnut Waffle Delight. I've used the whole bar here. I used it in my open concept living and kitchen, as well as a closed concept living. A list of scent notes of fluffy waffle smothered in creamy hazelnut spread and topped with fresh blueberries and red strawberries. Yes, I agree. I get all of those notes, but this too, just like the others, reminds me of a location, and it's one of my favorite locations on Main Street, USA, and that is the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor. So, all the way down on the end of Main Street, USA, there's this really fun little ice cream parlor. In the adjoining restaurant, you can get kind of full service breakfast and lunch, but you also can get something that is called the Kitchen Sink Sundae that has kind of all of these ingredients. It's incredibly decadent, adorable, fun, wonderful little treat that you can get when you visit Main Street, and this transports me right back there as well. This last bar, I admittedly have a complicated relationship with. The churros that are available at Disney are not a safe treat for us, and they do not have a safe option, so I've never smelled one. But what I can tell you is this on cold to me smells like a jalapeno, and on warm, it smells like jalapeno queso with maybe some chips on the side. It lists with scent notes of warm fried dough rolled in cinnamon, sugar, is a classic confection of sweet perfection. And to me, I do get the fried dough, but it smells more like a chip, like a tortilla chip and queso. And that's the vibe that I get from it. Now, for me, I did two different meltings where I used two cubes. And let me tell you, two cubes of this filled my office space up completely. And it smelled just like queso to me. It was like queso and chips. So it definitely put me in a kind of a Taco Tuesday kind of mood. And I don't find it to be an awful fragrance in that, but I do like spice. I will say this is not a cinnamon spice. This is a spicy jalapeno queso spice. So let's talk really quickly about my personal rankings of this collection. I already spoiled that Fruit and Hazelnut Waffle Delight is my favorite. I think it's broadly appealing. It definitely takes me back to the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, so I'm giving it my top spot. Number two, Air of Confectionery. What they've called it here is Candy Apple Delight, but I think this is another one that's broadly appealing. So even if you're not reminiscing about going to the confectionery, it is fresh and bright and a beautiful fragrance for any home, I think. Now, this is a bolder scent and it's more in the treat landscape, but Glazed Almond Dreams is going to take my third place spot just because I do love how it transforms on warm and it's very rich and decadent. And then I would give my fourth place spot to the Disney Mickey Mouse Cinnamon Bun Bash, otherwise known to me as Main Street USA Air of Bakery, because it does transport me back to the bakery. Now, of course, that leaves my fifth place finisher to be Queso So Spicy. Nope, I mean Churro So Sweet. And that's the reason I don't find it to be an objectionable scent. It's not a fragrance that I think I'd reach for very often, but it is fun when I think of it just as being a queso jalapeno scent. But it doesn't hit the mark for me as a churro scent. And these other four, they really hit the mark of a location. And I think if you are somebody who loves visiting Main Street, these top four that I've listed could really transport you back. And they kind of hit the vibe of what walking through Main Street, USA is like. I do think all of these bars perform really well. And they, in my home at least, they all threw beautifully. I would say the two that had the lightest intensity would be Candy Apple Delight and Disney Mickey Mouse Cinnamon Bun Bash. But I don't mean that they were light in intensity and light in throw. I mean that they were more like Air of Confectionery and Air of Bakery. So they have kind of this lighter intensity, but it's still a beautiful scent and it definitely throws in my home. So I really enjoy that. And then I would say the two that have the strongest intensity would be the Fruit and Hazelnut Waffle Delight and the Glazed Almond Dreams. And they also have really solid throw. And with all of these bars, excluding the Churro So Sweet, I was able to get into the second day of warming. I'd love to hear what your thoughts on this collection are. Have you visited Main Street USA and did you feel transported to location more than to treat like I did? Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.